1:38 to play. The ball to Kareem. Swing left. A 12-footer on the way north. Rebound worthy. Yes! 3 seconds. Jordan. Oh, yes! Michael Jordan saves the day. Let it fly. Here it goes. It is in the air, and it is caught. Oh, my goodness. It is.
Oh, hello. We are back with another episode of S&S Sports.
You guys have no idea what is going down. You have no idea what's in store for you guys this episode, man.
Yeah, I just launched like a nuclear missile right now. We're not going to get into that right now.
In the beginning of the episode. We can't even get the intro off. This is how it's going down.
This is how it's going down, folks. Yeah, everybody out there in podcast world, we're here with another episode of S&S Sports. I'm your man Suave.
Your boy Smitty. Let's get it.
Yeah, we're here to give you guys
a jam-packed episode for you guys this time around.
Yes, we were trying to give you guys our take on a couple hot issues.
Yes, indeed. So what we got in store for the people today, man? Let them know.
Well, first of all, we're going to get into the whole Deflategate with the New England Patriots and what should happen and how should they be punished. Okay.
Also, we're going to talk a little bit of NBA. You know, Lakers, Bulls, because those are both of our teams respectively.
Right. Exactly.
So, I mean, me being a Lakers fan, my man Swab being a Bulls fan, we got to let you know our insight on the situation. Because, you know, both of them squads are going in opposite directions right now. So, we're going to dive into that a little bit.
Right.
And we're going to talk a little bit of Super Bowl.
Yeah, you know got to talk about the Super Bowl.
Got to talk about the Super Bowl,
give our predictions and
you already know.
The matchups, things like that.
Yeah, Seahawks, Patriots, going to be a big one. So let's go on ahead and get into it. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, as far as the whole Deflategate drama goes, you know, you got, once again, the New England Patriots who have already been fined in the past for various things.
Here we go again.
Caught red-handed, once again, got caught this time deflating footballs, game balls that were used. And they were checked by the NFL, and apparently 11 of the 12 balls they checked were underinflated, and that is against the rules. So what do you think about that? Because first of all, they're trying to act like they don't have any idea that was going on.
First of all, it's a travesty. I'll be honest with you. A lot of people, you might agree with me, you might not. But it's a travesty going on in the sport. You know, Roger Goodell was hired for one thing, and that's to protect the integrity of the game, the integrity of the NFL shield, and the Patriots seem to just be playing by their own rules, man. I can't stomach it, dude. Like, at the end of the day, these guys have violated regulation after regulation. You know, what's this, like twice in the same decade they're caught violating something? I mean, come on, man. Give me a freaking break. At the end of the day, these guys are wrong, and in my opinion, heads are gonna roll, bro.
Yeah,
heads are gonna roll.
I think you're right. So who do you think is to blame? I mean, do you think it should be the coach? Think it should be the quarterback? A lot of people are saying there's no way the quarterback wouldn't have known about it.
Man, you know, one of my favorite movies is A Few Good Men, and Colonel Jessup ended up calling the code red. Colonel Jessup is Bill Belichick, in my opinion. All right, there's no way in the world that Bill Belichick didn't know what was going on. He tried to pass the blame along to Tom Brady and just say, okay, Brady was the guy, this and this and this. He didn't say it directly, but he kind of alluded to it in his press conference.
Right.
So there's no way that it didn't stop. It didn't start from the top, man. Bill Belichick knew what was going on. I'm pretty sure he allowed it to happen underneath his watch.
Yep.
So therefore, once penalties are imposed, man, Bill Belichick has to go.
Yeah, you know, I think that he knew about it, and I think also by him putting the blame on Brady, now he's kind of creating a little contempt between your quarterback and your coach now. I mean, now they might not be exactly.
It's a tandem. Both of them got to go. At the end of the day, if you're going to punish one, you got to take out the other. Belichick and Brady, since they're tied at the hands on this situation, they got to go, man.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
So I don't know if that's going to be imposed after the Super Bowl, more than likely, because there's so many dollars tied up in the Super Bowl. Advertising dollars, the NFL's making their money, Patriots are making their money.
Oh yeah,
everybody's getting paid during the Super Bowl, so I highly doubt that's going to happen this week. But after the Super Bowl, it's my personal opinion that both of those guys are out of there.
Yeah, and if in a perfect world, if I was the commissioner of the NFL, I would go ahead and lay that punishment down.
You have
as soon
to, right?
as possible. Yeah,
you have to, right? I mean, that's kind of his number one job, to protect the integrity of the shield.
Yep.
Protect the integrity of the players on the field, protect the integrity of the game itself. I mean, come on, you have to let those guys go. You really have to, especially when you consider Spygate and all that other nonsense that went on with the Jets and recording walkthrough practices and all that. This is a repeat offender. This guy clearly thinks he's above the law. He's above the shield, obviously. I mean, Bill Belichick, don't get me wrong, he's a great coach. By far, he's probably one of the best coaches in the NFL.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he doesn't even need to do any of these type of things. But for whatever reason, he feels that he needs to do it to get some sort of competitive advantage. So therefore, heads have to roll, man, in my opinion.
Heads have to roll along with that cheap toupee he's got on his head. But anyway,
Come on, man.
We're going to transition on over to round ball. Me, myself, being a lifelong Chicago Bulls fan,
Oh, how about them Bulls, man?
I'm very happy to see that my Bulls are coming back again. They're once again a threat. They were hot at first with Ben Gordon and Heinrich, but then they kind of fizzled out.
Yeah.
Now things are kind of rolling back together now. Butler's coming into his own.
Yeah, Butler's nice. About to be a Laker.
Well, I don't know about all that, but he's coming into his own. Mm-hmm. Just signed he just signed a Team Jordan contract for all you sneakerheads out there. So
nice.
Hopefully we'll get to see some original Jimmy Butler shoes.
Might get some decent shoes out of Chicago for once in a long time.
Adidas has been killing us right now.
Come on, D Rose, what's that about?
I have no idea, man. But Gasol's playing like he's a rookie again. He's playing brand new. I don't know what he did in the offseason, but he's playing a million times better than he's been playing the last couple years.
Man,
I mean, we just gotta stay consistent.
Man, how did you become a Bulls fan? Where'd that come from? I mean, you're a California native, obviously, like myself. Yeah. How did that even happen, man?
Well, I came up watching basketball in the early 90s. So right around the changing of the guards from the Showtime Lakers coming into Chicago Bulls. I was watching those finals games with my dad in the early 90s.
Got you.
I saw Jordan go around the backboard with that layup and just, do all kind of crazy stuff. Yeah. But actually, Scottie Pippen was my favorite player on the team. But just watching that whole era, it just kind of made me look at basketball to the point where I really was only interested in their games, So it's kind of a weird thing,
That's cool, man. So it must be tough being the only Chicago Bulls fan in Los Angeles, right?
Well, actually, you'd be surprised. When I go to Venice Beach, stuff like that, I wear my Bulls hat. See a lot of Bulls fans out there. Now, there are a lot of fans out there, I would like to point out, that are not Bulls fans, that just wear the hats and stuff because they match with their Jordans. Now, I don't really condone that.
Right.
You're not going to catch me in a Hornets hat just because they match the white and blue Jordans. You know what I mean?
Right,
the Bulls are my team.
Chris Pauls or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, we talk about that on a whole nother podcast. But, I see a lot of Bulls fans, I think, maybe half bandwagon, half left over from the Jordan era.
That's cool, man. That's cool. That's real cool, man. You're the original diehard Bulls fan. Like, there's no bandwagoning happening, none of that going on.
No, none of that.
That's cool. I can respect that, man.
Good and bad years, you got to be there for Ben Gordon if you're going to be there for Butler. So, that's how it works out. That's real fans.
So, what's the outlook looking like for your team this year, man? What are your projections do you see going forward?
Oh, man, we're going to the finals, man. I mean, I'm slightly worried about our matchup with the Wizards. For some reason, we don't match up well with them. Kind of hoping somebody else will knock them out, and then we can knock that team out, But I don't see any real thing. My only real
There's no real
worries
threats out there.
Only real worries are in the West.
First. This is on the record, ladies and gentlemen.
LeBron James, I am not worried, sir. Much respect, but I'm not worried about the Cavs right now.
Out of all the people in the Eastern Conference, he called out LeBron James. I don't know why he decided to go there. I'm
not worried.
And I'm telling you, bro, you need to be worried. Because right now the Cavaliers are in their nice little stretch where they're starting to figure things on. Things are kind of churning along, you know what I'm saying? David Blatt's kind of getting things going down there. As well as LeBron and the additions that they picked up with that trade. I mean, they're really starting to turn some heads right now.
LeBron James is going to have to do a little bit more recruiting before I have to really worry about them at this point. And I also feel like if they don't make the finals this year, I think that Coach Blatt is going to be working at a car wash or something next year. As long as they continue like this, because they're hot and they're cold. I think they lost to the Bucks. They lost to a bunch of guys.
I'm telling you, I liken this to the first year when LeBron James joined the Miami Heat.
Oh, yeah.
I've spoken to you this on several occasions. We've spoken about it. Remember how they started out the gate?
Oh, yeah.
They were struggling. It was ugly basketball to watch. LeBron James was throwing passes out of bounds.
Right.
D. Wade wasn't in the right spot. Bosh was nowhere to be found. Like, they were trying to figure each other out. Then it clicked.
They
instantly.
pulled it together. Yes, they did pull it together.
The light bulb went off, bro, and they got it going. And they made it to the finals in their first year. And I see this happening for this same Cleveland Cavaliers squad.
I don't know how much of that had to do with Eric Spoelstra now, but they did pull it together, and, you know, the rest is history, like they say.
Now, let me remind you, Spoelstra was a nobody.
True.
Man.
He still is.
Spoelstra was a nobody. Okay, he's only the championship winning head coach.
He's a broken window.
At the same time.
He's a flunky. I mean,
nobody knew who Spoelstra was. They couldn't even spell Spoelstra correctly.
My girl, when we watch the games, my girl says, oh, that guy doesn't know what he's doing. Look at his eyes. He doesn't know what's going on.
Sure.
You know,
he was a little bit out of his element. I mean, give him credit. What was he? A film assistant or something like that?
I think he ran the VCR or
something like that.
He cleaned the VCR after practice or something.
Yeah,
I don't know what
he was a film editor. So give him credit for his first major stint as a head coach. You got to give him credit. He made it to the finals the very next year. They won the finals.
Right.
Then the year after that, they won it again.
Hey, he did his thing, you know, but, you know, that is what happened in Miami. I think that I'd be more worried about LeBron James if he was still in Miami, honestly, because they already had it going like a machine. But Cavaliers, I don't think so, man.
I'd beg to differ, man. I'd say that the Cavaliers squad, they're younger and more athletic, and in my opinion, a little bit more talented than the Miami Heat squad.
You know what? I think Love is a lot more talented than Bosh.
Absolutely.
I think that Irving is more talented than Wade at this point in his career.
Absolutely.
But I think that as a collective unit, the three of them already had it down. Each one of them kind of knew their role.
Understood their role.
Right now, these guys are still kind of shuffling the cards. You know, that's why I feel like I was still, for the next maybe year or two, I would have been more worried about Miami if he would have been there. They were tough to beat in Miami, you know. But, you know, he's got the whole homecoming and, you know.
Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out. But right now, not really worried, man. Love the shoes, LeBron, but not really worried. All right?
All right, LeBron. You hear it, man.
Not really worried. Hit me up, man. Hit me up on Twitter or something,
saying he's not really worried. I'm on the opposite side of the fence. I'm saying that this is a team that you really need to take seriously down the stretch, especially when it comes playoff time. Because playoff basketball and regular season basketball is a completely different animal. And this is another fact that I stress to my boy Suave every time we have these type of debates.
That is true.
It's a completely different animal. Some teams are just built. Teams such as the Spurs, for example.
Oh, yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing. The way they move that ball and everything. Yeah,
they get in the playoffs and they light you up. They just out-execute you, period. They out-execute you. In the regular season, sure, they'll rest Duncan, they'll rest Parker, they'll rest Ginobili. Who cares?
Nobody really worries about them.
Who cares? As long as you're in the playoffs and they have like higher than a 5th seed, the Spurs are going to be dangerous.
Yeah, that's true, man.
I think the Cavaliers are just one of those teams that you just have to look forward to, look out for rather down the stretch.
Yeah, that's I'll keep him on my sight, but I'm not going to be having nightmares about him.
Let's not sleep on the Atlanta Hawks, who, as of this podcast, have won 15 games in a row.
The Hawks are doing it right now.
15.
I don't know how they're doing it.
No one took them seriously.
I look at the roster on paper. I don't know how they're doing it. I see like 2 people on that roster. I don't get it, but it's happening. I mean, they will be in the playoffs. They keep going like this, but I don't see.
That's going to be one of those teams to come in and knock out one of the major players. I think so.
I hope they knock out Cleveland. I hope they knock out Cleveland and we can take care of them. I mean, that'll be
spoken like a true Bulls fan.
Tic-tac-toe, I mean, that's the way it should go. I would just like to add at this point, I believe the New York Knicks have 6 wins at the time of this podcast.
That is true.
A measly 6 terrible wins.
That is true.
And I'd also like to add that Carmelo Anthony is a moron and should have come to Chicago and played with the winners. I don't understand why he chose to stay in New York.
It's funny.
I've been to New York. I love New York. But if you really want that ring, I mean, you really got to think with your brain and not with your heart on that kind of deal, you know.
And this guy is still putting Chicago in that ring championship ceremony discussion.
I'm trying to get time off of work so I can go to the parade already. You know, I'm trying to figure that out.
Okay, we're recording this podcast. It's January, the end of January. Whenever you guys are listening to this, just know it's the end of January. Yes. And he's already projecting his squad to be in the finals. Now, mind you, this happened the first week of the NBA season when the Bulls started like 5-0 or whatever their record was. Indeed. When they just came out the gate and they were just firing on all cylinders. This is the type of conversation that I had to deal with. So just to let you guys know, this is my man Swab, man. This is what he does.
We are going. We're going. Chicago, stand up.
He makes bold predictions.
Bulls Nation, see red.
With his heart.
We're going this year.
Seriously.
Shout out to all the Bulls fans, man.
If you guys want to bet somebody and make an easy win, bet this guy right here.
Okay, well, you might not want to do that.
Because he bets with his heart.
You might not want to do that. Don't bet against Chicago. You know, you might not want to do that.
He does not think things through thoroughly, I'm telling you, when it comes to sports teams.
You know, staying on the subject of basketball, you know, I know you are also big basketball fan.
Oh, yeah.
Fan of the Lakers, lifelong fan, you know.
Yeah.
When did you first start watching the Lakers play?
Since the day I met Magic Johnson as I was probably 9 years old, 10 years old. Yeah, awesome. I shook his hand. I met him at a Lakers game.
That's cool, man.
This was after he retired, of course.
Okay.
But, yeah, I've been a fan my entire life. You know, I bleed purple and gold. My heart pumps purple and gold. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a Lakers fan through and through. You know, even going back to the day when it was the Bulls-Lakers in the finals and Jordan hit that crazy switch-handed shot in midair. Yes, you know what I mean? So it even predates that, though. You know, I remember watching Byron Scott play as a little kid. You know what I mean? Magic Johnson play. At one point in my life, I even patterned my game after Magic Johnson and even Kareem. I used to try to do the hook shot in the driveway. Exactly. You know, cap. Right, you know what I mean? So it runs deep with me as with most LA fans. This is who we are. We're either LA fans, you know, not to mention like recently all these Clipper fans just come out of nowhere. But
that's right.
I'm saying, like, through and through, that's who I am.
That's right. And, you know, it's impossible to live in L.A. without having some kind of influence by that. Lakers, especially earlier, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, you know.
Absolutely.
Even being a Bulls fan, I still, you know, of course, I enjoyed seeing Cedric Sabalas.
Yeah.
I was always a big Nick Van Exel fan.
Yeah.
I even went to Michael Cooper camp later, back in the days, you know. So, you know, Lakers always been a big deal. And I was also
Pasadena Bulldogs.
I was privileged enough to be at the Forum when Magic broke the assist record, like in the 90s.
Okay.
Still got the poster, matter of fact. That was a big deal, you know. I mean, the way that guy used to drop those dimes, you know, that's incredible, you know.
Yeah, 6'9". What was he, like 220? Like easily 230.
Running the point, you know. Yeah, it's incredible.
Never seen nothing like it since. I mean, maybe LeBron, I guess.
Incredible stuff, though, man.
You've never seen anything come close to it.
That was the beginning of that, you know. So,
die hard, yeah. Who knew a guy that tall could handle the ball like that, let alone make passes and set his teammates up. So
that's right, man.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to me. Like, and it's been hard, you know, especially like this season, the last couple of seasons actually. You know, any season, like as a Laker fan, you got to know one thing: we are kind of conditioned to winning. We're conditioned to. Some call us spoiled, whatever, but we're just used to winning around here. We're used to at least making the playoffs and making the deep run every single season. And when it doesn't happen, you know, we kind of disassociate for a little minute. We kind of go and retract and do our own thing.
Yeah, it's
true. Know, it's just kind of the LA vibe. You know, we're not going to root for a garbage team. Yeah, we're still going to be Lakers fans till we die. But at the end of the day, it's kind of hard to continue to root for these teams, man. I mean, I can't say that it's been easy watching these teams struggle for the past couple of years. Watching Kobe, who honestly, I remember when we got Kobe on draft day, traded with Charlotte.
That's right.
You know,
Jerry West hooked that up.
Like, who is this kid out of nowhere? You know, who is this kid? He sure comes out and ends up being like one of the greatest players to ever play in the purple and gold.
That's right, man. Speaking of Kobe, let me ask you a question about Kobe.
Here we go.
Man. I don't want to cut you off, but
go ahead.
It was recently announced he has a torn rotator cuff.
Right.
And he's going to miss the remainder of the season now.
Right.
As a Laker fan, looking at him now, you know, he just came back from the Achilles injury.
Right.
My question for you is, do you think he'll return? Do you think he'll just retire? What do you think is next for Kobe Bryant?
Well, for one, and I've shared with you a couple of times off the air. One of the main things that the Lakers have discussed this entire offseason not offseason, but during the season leading up to the All-Star break is the possibility of shutting Kobe Bryant down. Mm-hmm. And I honestly feel that this is just the excuse that they needed to shut him down. You know,
shut him down, just have him rest. So
shut him down for the entire season. Exactly. Yeah, and then let him try to make some moves in the offseason and then possibly bring him back next year or whatever. That's right. And we'll go for it at that point. But it's my belief that you can't just bench a player for the entire season. You can't. Remember when Greg Popovich tried to do the same thing with the Spurs and Duncan and Parker and Ginobili and those guys and just rested them for I was just like 2-3 games or whatever it was. We're talking about the entire season here. So I'm thinking that this is just the incident that the Lakers needed in order to shut Kobe down. Because I remember an interview that he gave right after the game. And I remember him saying that he was just, I'm just kind of sore. You know, it's not that big of a deal. He kind of downplayed the entire thing. Right. Of course, MRIs after the fact revealed that he had a torn rotator cuff and this and that. But I still think that might be slightly inflated. You know,
Could be just
giving them the reason that they need.
The injury.
Yeah, giving them a reason so they can justify shutting them down without the league having any type of ramification. And that's just my belief. But who knows? You know, he has played a lot of minutes. Those legs, that body has played a lot of minutes since he was drafted out of high school, out of Lower Merion in Philadelphia. Right. I mean, he's put a lot of miles on that body, man.
Oh, yeah, and had a great career. Had a great career, too, you know?
Yeah. Championships, all that. So, I mean, maybe it could be legit. I don't know. It's just my personal belief that this is just the reason that the Lakers needed to shut him down, and they're going to take advantage of it, as they should.
Right. Okay, well, as far as the Lakers go, you know, you got to look into next year, especially shutting down Kobe, you know, if that's the case for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
What players, besides Jimmy Butler, because we've already said how that's not going to happen.
Butler.
Besides Jimmy Butler,
hey man,
what players would you like to see in the purple and gold next year? If you could, you know, maybe handpick one or two players.
Got the women, weed, and weather. Women, weed, and weather. Got their women. Like,
what do you think?
I'm just saying, Butler, man. Hey, come on out here, man. You already know. He's not
going anywhere.
You already know, man.
Jimmy Butler, Chicago.
We got it all for you, baby. We got it. And we'll pay you. We'll pay you. We'll max you out.
He's trying to get this ring, dude. He's trying to get this ring right now, man. We got to do it. We got to do it for Michael, man.
So, what other players? I mean, to be honest with you, man, I haven't really studied the scape of the NBA right now. I don't know what free agents are available and all that.
But just you personally, if you could just handpick two players, you know, all contracts and agents and rules and salary caps aside, if you could just grab two guys and just put them on the purple and gold, who do you think would help turn the whole thing around? Like, what two guys?
Durantula. Durantula would have to be one.
That's big. Yeah, he's a shooter.
And let's get a legit point guard.
Durant and a point guard.
Whoever's available. I mean, you can name.
Pretty hot.
You can name whoever you want to name. Pencil them in. The hottest
Darren
point guard.
Williams or
I think
somebody younger.
D. Will is probably over the hill at this point.
Somebody younger. You might have to go to like Brandon Jennings or somebody like that. Maybe a John Wall.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Jennings has been rumored to L.A. You know,
I can see that.
They've been trying to make some things happen.
Him and Swaggy P probably get along. Yeah. I can see that.
It'll be an exciting time in LA. You know, it might resemble the Nick Van Exel era where Van Exel just come up and just let it go.
Nick was the man. I gotta say. So little side story, real quick. Nick Van Exel side story. My friend, buddy of mine, Big G White, went to a Laker game and was chilling in the locker room.
Okay.
Before the game. Now, this is allegedly what happened. I'm going to throw an allegedly in there, you know, in case the lawyers are out there. But allegedly,
you heard it here first.
This guy saw Nick Van Exel drink 2 40 ounces and then go out and score 40 points that same night. Now, I'm just telling you what I heard. 2 40 ounces to the neck in the locker room and then went out and played. So
I don't doubt it.
That shows you how raw Nick Van Exel was. Shout out to Nick Van Exel if he's out there.
I don't doubt it, man. I mean, I've heard stories about Charles Barkley. He used to show up to show up to the game still messed up from the night before.
Oh, yeah.
Still hungover, still drinking, whatever.
And I've heard stories about guys on the bench, got a little something in the water bottle. You know, I've heard all kind of crazy stories.
I won't put it past guys, man. We're kind of deviating off topic here, but I wouldn't put it past them.
Shout out to Nick Van X. Shout out to 40 ounces.
Yes, sir. Made it possible for everybody to rock the shaved eyebrows back in the day.
That's right, man. Now, some people shouldn't have done it, but he did put that on the map. A lot of people cut their faces up trying to do that. Now,
for real.
Getting back to the NFL, man. I mean, I gotta say a little something.
Yeah, man.
It's water under the bridge.
What team do you like in the NFL, man? We never even discussed that yet.
You know, I'm a big fan of course, America's team. Patriots? I am an American.
The Patriots?
So I am, of course, a Dallas Cowboys fan. America's team, the number one franchise.
This guy.
The number one stadium, the number one owner, you know, I mean.
Okay.
It's just a very illustrious history.
Okay.
That the Dallas Cowboys have. But, you know, it's water under the bridge now, but I got to say.
Okay.
You just showed me the film about that catch, man.
Yeah. For those that are just listening, you know, you guys, I did show him a replay before we dove into this podcast. I showed him a replay.
He ripped the scab off my arm,
of the Des Bryant no catch that was called by the referees against Green Bay.
Terrible.
You know, I wanted this to be fresh in his mind so he can comment on it. And I know it's a little bit old at the time of this podcast because we're gearing up for the Super Bowl and all that. But you guys have to hear this guy's take on this. So going ahead and break it down for the people, man. What do you think?
All right, look.
Was that a catch, no catch? What are your thoughts on that situation?
Anybody with a double-digit IQ would know that he caught the ball, he took 2 or 3 steps, he dove for the end zone. He never lost control of the ball. The ball never rolled away from him.
It did roll away.
It was never... No, the ball never rolled away from him,
The ball didn't roll
sir.
once it hit the ground.
The ball was always in at least one of that man's hands the entire time. The man had the ball, and when I saw it, I'm thinking touchdown. I'm thinking, boom, let's go kick this extra point.
Yeah.
Apparently, it should have been first and goal, but in no way should it have been reversed. I think that was...
Right.
That was, in my opinion, that was the equivalent to a terrorist attack. You know what I mean?
Wow. Okay.
It was disgusting.
You went 0 to 100 on that
one. The NFL
ASAP
should just take those referees and let them go do something else for the rest of their life. I mean, it was disgusting.
So you should just fire the entire officiating staff.
I think those refs were born and raised in Wisconsin. I don't understand what's going on, but...
Oh, come on.
I mean, Jesus. Anybody who saw that catch, it was a catch, people. It was a catch. I got people hitting me up from New York to Maryland to Vegas. It was a catch. I mean, what else can I say? I got Packers fans telling me it was a catch. So it was a catch.
I'm totally with you. My first reaction, for the record, when Dez made that play was like, oh my God, he caught that. He made that play. Yes. He went up and got the ball, and
that's
he
what
caught
all the Packers fans thought too.
That's my initial reaction. But then, the instant he went down to the ground, you know what I thought of?
What'd you think?
Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson. The infamous Calvin Johnson rule. Going to the ground after you make a catch. That's initially what my thought process was. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? It'll probably be overturned because I saw the ball move. As soon as he caught the ball, sure, he controlled it. He put the ball in his left hand, made an effort to get in the end zone. But as soon as he hit the ground, that ball rolled. That ball rolled.
Where did it roll to? It didn't roll anywhere because it was still in his hand. It was still in his hand.
If it was in his hands, the ball would not have rolled. Put it like this. God. If the ball didn't move, we'd be talking about the Cowboys potentially going to the... Well, I don't know, because they would have played Seattle.
No, you said
but we'd be talking about the Cowboys.
Bro, we already beat the
Seahawks.
We already beat them in Seattle.
We'd be discussing the Cowboys and the Seahawks aftermath and whatever the heck happened after that.
We'll be talking about how great it's going to be. We're going to be talking about how many diamonds is Tony Romo's ring going to have in it. That's what we'll be talking about right now. You know,
I'm just saying we'd be having a different discussion.
That is true, sir. That is very true.
But the ball rolled in his left hand.
Hurts my heart, man. Hurts my heart.
If he could have somehow secured that ball, maybe in his arm, against his body, somehow going to the ground and not let it move, it's a whole different discussion.
It's terrible, man. My heart goes out to
touchdown
Des Bryant.
Or it's first and goal Cowboys at the 1.
My heart goes out to Des Bryant because he's the first player in NFL history to catch a game-winning ball.
Wow.
But have it taken away. So
wow.
Shout out to Des Bryant, man. Shout out to my whole Cowboys nation, man.
Shout out to Des. Des made a heck of a play.
Referees.
He made a heck of a play.
I don't know what to tell you.
He went up and got that, and he made the play. In my opinion, the rules committee obviously is going to look at that in the offseason.
Oh yeah, now they'll change it. I'm sure now they'll change it.
Sure. I mean, you can't make it retroactive, but at least they're going to look at it. Des did something positive for the game. The Cowboys did something positive for the game, because maybe they'll change that rule going to the ground. Maybe they'll make that rule just going out of bounds or in the back of the end zone or something. That type of rule will only affect those type of scenarios.
Yeah, and it's a shame that it had to happen against.
It's a shame it had to happen.
My team, should I say? But you know,
on the best season your Cowboys had in years. I get you.
We move forward. We're gonna, we'll be back next year, and hopefully we got to do what we have to do, so the refs don't get to take that away from us. That's the important
absolutely
thing.
And I think Jason Garrett put it best when he was just like, you know what, we didn't make enough plays to win this game. It didn't come down to that one play, and I honestly agree with him. Yeah. Because after that play, you guys had, 5 minutes plus or whatever the case was?
Yeah, the defense was
shot. To stop Green Bay?
Defense was shot at that point. Yeah,
and I think you guys had Aaron Rodgers on the 3rd and 5+ in one scenario.
He's out there hobbling around, look like a lame deer. You know what I mean? It was funny. It was funny watching him limp out there.
I agree.
For me, it was funny.
And
I'm not an employee of the NFL, so I can say things like that.
Sure.
I think it was funny seeing him limp like that. I was hoping we would have got a good shot and just got him out of the game for half of it or something. At least a series, but we never got that. So.
Seriously.
It is what it is, man.
And of course, we're not talking about seriously injuring somebody. We're just talking about making a nice hit. Making a real good, clean hit.
We want to buy Aaron Rodgers an ice cream cone. We like Aaron Rodgers.
Clean hit. Make him feel it the next drive or two.
Just kind of ring his bell a little bit. Ring his bell. Make him bite his tongue and go out for a minute.
Yeah, we don't condone injuring players on the S&S podcast.
Of course not. We're not Saints fans. We don't do that. We're not Saints fans. We don't do that kind of stuff.
I'm leaving that one alone.
Anyway,
I'm leaving that one alone.
Shouts out to my man Cam, by the way.
That's a perfect transition into my team.
Right.
Speaking of the New Orleans Saints and the NFC South.
That's right.
I'm a lifelong, no, I can't say a lifelong, but I'm a hardcore Falcons fan.
Atlanta Falcons.
I've been an Atlanta Falcons fan since about 2000, 2001, give or take.
Right.
So I kind of predate the whole Michael Vick scandal and all that nonsense, but hey, it happened.
That's right.
I suffered through it. We won no games that entire season, missed the playoffs, had Joey Harrington as our quarterback. We draft Matt Ryan following year, and things start looking up.
You guys are rolling. Yeah, you guys are rolling. But let me ask you a question, man.
So
because you did say the M word, man, I wanted to ask you actually.
Okay.
Looking back all these years later,
right?
Let's say that dog incident never happened, right? Or at least he never got caught.
Wow, you're about to put me on blast right now.
Do you think that Michael Vick would still be your starting quarterback? Because I've noticed that sometimes certain franchises have the same quarterback. It seems like forever. Other franchises, it's kind of like every 2 years they got a new quarterback. Do you think the Falcons would have ever drafted Matt Ryan?
No.
You don't think so? Would have still had Vick as their
that year we drafted. That year we had Michael Vick, and we brought in Bobby Petrino from college, from Louisville at the time, who was supposedly an offensive quarterback expert, guru type of guy.
Right.
He was brought in specifically to work with Mike Vick to make Mike Vick elite. That was his job.
That's right.
So obviously, everybody knows what happened. Vic went down with the whole dogfighting thing. Bobby Petrino ended up bouncing on us at week 14 of the season, week 15, something like that.
Something like that.
This high and dry.
Right. He went to college. He went back to college.
He went right back to college.
Yeah.
He went to Arkansas.
That's right.
Yeah, he was doing the pig suey chant and all that nonsense.
That's right. He bounced.
I hated that guy's guts.
Man, he bounced.
We had no coach at all. He just left us.
No loyalty, huh, Bobby?
But anyway, and that's just gross what I'm looking at right now. You guys have no idea what I'm looking at. But that's besides the point. Getting back to the topic at hand, to answer your question, I think Vic still would have been the quarterback.
You think so, huh?
I think he still would have been the guy had he not gone down that road of dogfighting and gotten indicted and convicted and all that nonsense.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic, but I just had to ask you that one. I had to throw that one out there because I remember, and the people out there, the gamers know, Back on the PS2 days, this guy used to light me up, Michael Vick.
Oh, yeah.
It was like having 2 running backs on the field at all times.
Yeah.
It was so unfair, man. Every time he touched the ball, 10-yard run, 10-yard run.
Yeah. Michael Vick, work done. That was
Those were the days.
Ridiculous tandem to try to guard back in Madden.
Man, that was retarded, man. I couldn't get anything done, man. Have to go after Vic every time, and then he'd throw the ball. I mean, it was rough, man. So I just had to throw that one out there for
the originator of all these type of running quarterback formations that they have going on in the NFL right now.
Very true.
Michael Vick was the guy that started it all, man. In my opinion, I mean, I'm sure there were others. If you want to date back to Randall Cunningham and those types of guys back then, but Michael Vick was the guy.
That's true indeed,
that
man.
Every college quarterback wanted to be at the time when he was at Virginia Tech, when he was with Atlanta.
That's right.
So
I think he also changed what recruiters were looking for, because as soon as he did his thing and got out there, there was like an overflow of all these running quarterbacks. I mean, back in the day, those guys they would be drafted, but then they would have to be another position.
And not just from a
now everybody was cool with the running quarterback, you know.
It's like offensive coordinators. Like Michael Vick opened a lot of offensive coordinators' eyes.
Yes, he did.
To the possibility of a mobile quarterback that can also throw. Like, I mean, Michael Vick wasn't the best passer. I mean, let's just be honest.
Right.
But if you get a guy that can actually pass, that is mobile, man, like a Russell Wilson type.
There you go.
Man.
There you go. I was just going to say, man, there might be no Russell Wilson if it wasn't for Michael Vick. You know?
Oh, absolutely not. No, Russell Wilson will be a pro baseball player or something like that, given his height.
You don't know what he'd be doing. You know what I mean? He might be an elevator operator somewhere. I mean, you don't know where he'd be working at the Hilton or something, you know?
And that's the perfect segue into our next topic.
Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, huh?
Russell Wilson and the Seahawks against the Patriots. Tom Brady and Deflategate Patriots. How about that?
There you go. We got the Super Bowl. We got a little bit of stink on it. We got some. It's a little tainted this year.
Big old asterisk by the Patriots.
You know, a lot of people calling them Bill Belichick, and there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean,
as they should.
I gotta say that I wouldn't be surprised if ratings were down this year.
Of course.
I think it'll be one or the other. I think ratings will either be down or they'll be higher than they were last year. One or the other, no in between. And I think it's going to be a good game. I hope it'll be a lot better than last year's game.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I remember last year's game, man.
Oh, that was terrible.
I ended up leaving close to halftime. Like, it was just over with. I had no intention on staying and watching that massacre.
That was insane. I think the Seahawks scored during the coin toss on that game, man. That was wild, man. Broncos fans, you know, no offense, but that was a rough one. You guys kind of stunk up the building on that one, you know.
Hey, before we do anything further, though, man, shout out to Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks, the future Atlanta Falcons head coach.
Wow.
Shout out. Hey, we can't wait to get you home. We can't wait to get you home, baby. We can't wait to get
about
to
LeBron
work.
James. Forget about that.
We can't wait to get you home. Hey, Dan Quinn, come on home. Let's get to work, man.
Dan Quinn.
Yes, indeed. You know, Dan Quinn has been reported by a lot of media outlets that he's the next head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. So I really can't wait to see what he does once he gets to Atlanta next season.
There you go, man. Dan Quinn. The team is yours if you want it. We'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's already a done deal, man. I'm pretty sure they've already ironed out the contract behind the scenes.
They've ironed it out. The briefcase has been delivered. The briefcase has been dropped off.
Pretty much, you know. And then we're trying to stay away from that because we don't want any tampering charges or anything like that.
We don't want Goodell to get on us now.
But at the same time, we know those little wink handshake deals are going down behind the scenes.
That's right. That's right. The unblinking eye
is the guy.
The unblinking eye is
already hired Kyle Shanahan as our offensive coordinator, who is a Dan Quinn guy. That was his first choice as offensive coordinator. So it's just a matter of time. Just get through the Super Bowl, and hopefully Dan Quinn will win the Super Bowl. That way he can bring 2 rings with that experience to the Atlanta Falcons, to a defense that definitely needs to be recharged, man.
There you go, man. Well, good luck on that.
Yes, sir. Can't wait till next season. Let's get it. Now, that's a perfect segue into our next topic, the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
New England Patriots versus the Seattle Seahawks. Oh, my goodness. Now, the Seahawks have been there. They were there last year. I mean, everybody's already seen this movie. You know, in fact, I told one of my closest friends that's a Seahawks fan that, honestly, man, I'm not too thrilled about the Super Bowl, but it's a Super Bowl. What are you going to do?
It is what it is.
You have to.
It is what it is.
Yeah, you have to. This is the pinnacle, man. You have to watch it. So even though it's like a rerun to an I Love Lucy episode to me personally,
right,
I'm going to tune in And I'm sure I'll be watching the entire game glued to the TV for about four plus hours or so.
Of course.
So with that said, man, what do you think is going to happen in this year's Super Bowl?
I think it's going to be a good game. You got two good teams.
Okay.
Two good defensive teams. You got two good quarterbacks. You got one good coach out there.
One good coach.
One good coach and one questionable guy out there with a questionable hairstyle.
With an asterisk by his name.
Got some things going on. I think it might be tied at halftime, but I believe the better defense will take off in the second half.
Okay.
And I think it'll be 24-10 Seahawks at the end of the game. I'm predicting Richard Sherman talking more trash in front of the camera. That's what I'm predicting.
24-10.
24-10.
So you think
it might be
Patriots,
10-10 at halftime. You never know.
The Patriots are only going to score 10 points the entire game.
I'm calling that. I think that karma comes around, and I don't think that the Patriots should win. So I don't see it happening, man. Don't see it happening.
I got you. I totally got you, and I respect your opinion and all that wonderful stuff, but I'm going to have to disagree here, man.
Okay.
I'm going to have to look you in the eye and say that you're wrong.
Okay.
And say
Wouldn't be the first time, folks.
It's not going to happen that way, man.
Okay.
The New England Patriots. Now, it depends. First of all, let me preface this by saying that it depends what Seahawks team shows up.
Okay.
If the Seahawks team that played the Packers showed up, if they show up this week, it's going to be a blowout.
You think so?
Yeah, because the Seahawks team that played against the Packers were not ready to play. And I've even been told by several of my Seahawks friends that the Seahawks are a second half type of team.
Right.
So if they come out and they decide that they want to start slow and kind of feel things through and then let the game come to them, you know what I'm saying? By that time, with Tom Brady at the helm, that game is going to be over by halftime. Over.
That's big. It's
going to be over.
Brady likes to take advantage quick.
So, exactly. And you got a coach like Bill Belichick. Now, Deflategate and all that other stuff on the side. Let's just put that aside for a second.
Right.
This dude can out-scheme you. He can out-coach you. He can put personnel groupings on the field that will blow the average defensive coordinator's mind.
Right.
So, I think that he's definitely going to take advantage of that when it comes to the Super Bowl. So, if you're asking me to put a score on it right now,
what do you think? I'm
saying Patriots win. As much as it hurts me to say, because I'm not really a Patriots fan, but I'm saying Patriots win 35-21.
35-21.
35-21 Patriots.
All right, folks.
Tom Brady is celebrating the confetti and all that good stuff.
There you have it, folks.
So it's on the board. It's on the record. You heard it here first. 35-21 Patriots. That's Smitty's pick. Swab's pick is once again.
Good old Seahawks, man. I mean, I can't count them out, man. But one thing I would like to add, no matter what the score is, no matter what team raises the trophy, the real winner of the Super Bowl this year is Nike, because they are making the jerseys, they are making the cleats. I checked the website. They're selling all the apparel. And by the way, just throw this fact out there. All of the Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl merchandise is sold out. I'm talking about the jackets, the jerseys, everything is sold out.
Sure.
Patriot stuff still available. So I'll just leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to leave it right there. Shout out to Nike, by the way. If you want to send us some stuff, feel free. Send us anything you want.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nike.
There it is, folks.